So you're probably looking for a place to live in Utah, and you're getting confused by looking at all the different lists and seeing all the different videos with the top places or the best places to live in Utah. As I've researched for this video, I found so many different lists, and each list had their own unique set of criteria, but they also had their own results. So how is somebody supposed to interpret exactly what this means? But more importantly, what is the real answer as to what are the best places to live in Utah? As a Utah native, I would argue that there's no such thing as a perfect list because the best places to live are so incredibly unique to you. There is no such thing as a perfect answer because we're all uniquely different, but the important thing is to nail down your criteria based on your lifestyle, your family, your habits, and of course your job and how all of that comes together in terms of where you live right here in Utah. If we haven't met yet, my name is Steele, and I'm a local real estate agent, but I love helping people discover all things Utah, in addition to Utah real estate, but I love helping people move here from other places, and it's the vast majority of my business. I really enjoy helping answer those questions that you're looking for when moving to Utah. Okay, you've considered making a move to Utah, or perhaps you've already moved here. Whatever your answer is, here are the very best places to live in Utah. Okay, so here's my list of the top 8 places to live in Utah. Starting off, we're gonna start with Salt Lake City. Now, Salt Lake City has a huge variety of different neighborhoods to live in, from the Greater Avenues to the Upper Avenues, all the way through Sugar House or Liberty Wells. There's so many different neighborhoods in Salt Lake City, there's probably something for everybody. Salt Lake City is my hometown, and I've lived here almost my entire life. But recently, as I walk through downtown, all I see is development. There are construction cones and cranes absolutely everywhere. Entire city blocks are being transformed with new developments every single month, and it's absolutely astounding how much change is happening right in the heart of Salt Lake City. In fact, something really interesting is that in the last 2 years, the number of residential living units in downtown Salt Lake City has doubled. And this is a transformation that Salt Lake City has never seen. Downtown Salt Lake City is in a booming period. This is something that's not common across the country. Most downtown areas are not thriving in the same way that downtown Salt Lake City is. So if you're looking for the city life, this is a great place to be. And it's not too big of a city, so there's a lot of advantages. You'll find a lot of concerts and activities. There's farmers markets. There's so many things to do in downtown Salt Lake City or surrounding the area of downtown that you'll find something that's right for you. Now for me, one of my favorite parts of Salt Lake City, besides seeing the old buildings and the architecture in Salt Lake, is the University of Utah is super close. You can attend a University of Utah football game, but also the brand new airport that was just built is just minutes away from downtown Salt Lake City. These things are so close in proximity, it makes everything really easy to get around. I love the fact that I-15 runs right along next side downtown Salt Lake City as well. Another thing about Salt Lake City is if you're looking for the best restaurants in the state, the vast majority of the new restaurants coming in are coming right to Salt Lake City. And so if you're looking for a really diverse selection of dining options outside of the city, it's going to be tough to come by. Most of the restaurants in the suburban areas are of course chain restaurants and otherwise, but in downtown, near Salt Lake City, you're going to see a lot of incoming restaurants. Okay, the next place on my list is going to be Park City. Park City is one of the most expensive areas in Utah to live, but there's so much to do, there's so many activities. The outdoors are your backyard, and of course you've got ski resorts like Deer Valley or the Canyons or Park City Mountain Resort, but there's world-class mountain biking, there's reservoirs, there's so many things to see in and around Park City. Park City absolutely has to make this list. Also, Park City is really growing. It stretches beyond just Park City. There's places like Jeremy Ranch or Summit Park or Snyderville. These are areas right adjacent to Park City, including areas like Hideout Canyon or even going down south into Heber City and Midway. These areas are booming and the construction is crazy. I see more $2, $3, $4, $5 million homes being built in these areas than anywhere else that I've seen. Okay, next on the list is St. George, along with other small towns that are part of that St. George metropolitan area, like Washington and Santa Clara. St. George is one of 5 major metropolitan areas right here in Utah, and it is one of the fastest growing places, not only in Utah, but across the country. Also, St. George is so incredibly different from the rest of the state. It sits much lower in elevation, and it feels like a completely different place. It's surrounded by red rock sandstone, it's a desert, it's got palm trees, it doesn't snow there. The temperatures are significantly warmer in St. George than they are up here in Salt Lake City. And because of that, it becomes a destination in the winter and also a place for retirees. Now in the summertime, it's not uncommon to see temperatures rise above 110 degrees. And it's typically about 10, maybe 12 degrees, maybe 15 degrees hotter in St. George than it is up here in northern Utah along the Wasatch Front. But in my opinion, the best part about St. George is the outdoors. You have golfing, world-class golfing all throughout St. George, as well as state parks like Sand Hollow, and one of the most visited national parks in the entire country in Zion National Park, just really close by. If you haven't had a chance to visit Zion National Park, I would highly recommend it because it is the third most visited national park in the entire United States. Okay, next on the list, I'm going to put a city that lies within Salt Lake County in this Salt Lake Valley, and that is Sandy, Utah. Sandy sits just about 25 to 30 minutes south of downtown Salt Lake City. Sandy sits on the eastern side of the valley and has become a prime destination that people are looking to move to if they want easy access to the city, to the freeways, but also the canyons so that they can go ski at the best ski resorts really close to Salt Lake City, and that's right up Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. In fact, I've looked specifically in Sandy for homes for clients many times simply because of their proximity to both Little and Big Cottonwood Canyon, with Alta and Snowbird and Brighton and Solitude ski resorts just 15 minutes away. Now, most of Sandy is a little bit older. Most of these homes were built in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, but it definitely has a lot of infill happening as well. And I think my suspicion is that eventually we'll start seeing some more scrapes and rebuilds because Sandy is such a desirable location. There's a lot of things to do. There's an amphitheater that is amazing. There's also a really cool theater in the heart of Sandy called Hale Center Theater. It's a massive theater, and if you're into that kind of thing, it's an awesome place to go to. And Sandy is also home to our Major League Soccer team, Real Salt Lake. And so the stadium that was built here was built right down here in Sandy because they knew that more people would likely attend these games that lived in the suburbs as opposed to being downtown in Salt Lake City. And so far, things have been really successful. Real Salt Lake has won an MLS Cup, and so we can at least hang our hat on at least one championship, despite the fact that the Jazz have yet to win one. Okay, next on the list is one of my favorite smaller towns in Utah, or small cities, and that is Logan. Logan does sit in the far northern part of Utah, and it's one of the 5 metropolitan areas right here in the state. And it's really a college town. It is the home of the Utah State Aggies. It has a really young population because of the college atmosphere. It is a college town, but it's also a farming town. There's a lot of small towns surrounding Logan. And the other thing to realize is Logan is a little bit colder than it is right here in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City typically sees temperatures anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees warmer in the winter months than does Logan. And so if you're looking for the colder places to live in Utah, Logan might be close up to the top of your list. Now, one of my favorite parts about Logan is its proximity to one of the best lakes in Utah, and that is Bear Lake. Bear Lake is one of the most beautiful lakes in Utah with the turquoise waters. It is an absolutely amazing place to take the family, so it's pretty cool that Logan has that going for it. Okay, next on the list is Provo. So Provo sits just about 45 minutes to an hour south of Salt Lake City and is home of Brigham Young University. So it too is a college town, but it really has become the focal point of so many other things besides just BYU. And Provo continually ranks as one of the best places to live in Utah for so many reasons, and some of the fastest growth that we're seeing in the state of Utah right now is really close to Provo in Utah County. So Provo is right in the heart of Utah County. Utah County is centered right around Utah Lake, which is a massive freshwater lake. But this particular metropolitan area is growing tremendously. Right on the west side of Provo, along the eastern side of Utah Lake, there's places like Vineyard, and further down south, there's places like Mapleton, Springville, and Spanish Fork, as well as others that are growing tremendously fast. And in the coming years and decades, the population is naturally going to extend further and further south in Utah County. Okay, next let's jump into the northern part of Utah County, and that's Highland. Highland and Alpine are really close to each other in the northern part of Utah County, right next to Lehigh, which is the heart of Silicon Slopes, where all of the tech companies are coming into the state and setting up shop. Highland, however, is just one of the most beautiful suburban areas that I've seen in Utah. It is absolutely amazing. It does have some of the most expensive homes in the state, outside of some certain small areas in Salt Lake City and Park City, but it does offer a quality of life unmatched in so many different areas. It also has really close proximity to the Alpine Loop right up American Fork Canyon. You can see some amazing scenery up there. There's so much to do up that canyon. You can go hiking, you can go mountain biking, off-roading, fishing, all sorts of things right there, just minutes away from Highland. Okay, and last on the list is probably something that I'm a little biased with, but I'm going to say South Jordan. Now, I live in a part of South Jordan called Daybreak, which has been one of the top-selling master plan communities in the entire country for so many years. But I think that South Jordan offers the best of suburban life just outside of Salt Lake City. It's about 30 minutes south, sits on the west side, just west of Sandy. And South Jordan has become just one of those places where the neighborhoods are nice, it's clean, and the home values are really high. It just has become one of the most desirable places for families to move to right here in Salt Lake County. And if you're looking for things to do in and around South Jordan, of course you can hop on I-15 and get to the city really quickly, as well as the canyons to go recreate. But right here in South Jordan, we have some really cool things as well. There is a massive man-made lake inside of Daybreak, as well as a water course, and these provide some really cool activities and so many things going on the weekends. There's farmers markets, there's car shows, there's all sorts of different activities that you can find something to do with your family. And I think there's something here for absolutely everybody as well. And as I've explained in a previous video, one of the best parts about living in Daybreak and in South Jordan is the recent announcement that they're moving the AAA baseball team down here to the suburbs, right here in the heart of Daybreak. They're building the stadium right now as we speak, and it will be the new home of the Salt Lake Bees, which is the AAA affiliate to the Los Angeles Angels. And hopefully one day we'll also get a Major League Baseball team here, but for now, we'll at least be able to walk just down the street and visit the new ballpark and go experience a baseball game with the family. The bottom line is it's a personal answer. Some people might say that this is a good place in Cottonwood Heights. Other people might say that Holiday is a much better place. Other people might say that a small town in southern Utah would be the ideal place or the best place to live in Utah. And finally, just as a reminder, it's crucial to reach out to me if you're looking to move here, because there's so many different nuances between the different areas, and it really boils down to what's important to you. So I have a whole series of questions that I like to ask my clients before I recommend any areas for them, because the areas that I recommend for you might be completely different than this list that I just recommended in this video. And I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. If you're looking to move here, reach out to me, we can schedule a call. And until the next video, thanks.